I do believe everything's within us now. I mean, before I probably just heard about it, words like everything's within me, but I truly do believe everything is within you. Just to somehow find a way to get still. Like even if you can just try a little stillness. This is what I do at nighttime. So I have a journal and I write my desire, or sometimes it could be a problem, a challenge. How could I continue to even have more joy, but also expand to hold the space for a senior sisterhood? That's my desire. I just wrote it in the journal and then I just go to sleep. In that space, let my subconscious mind work. And then in the morning, get up, write whatever is coming to me. That's intuition. That's a method that I use for intuition to come to me. Then I go to meditation. Then I download whatever that's coming. That's trusting intuition more and more. Sometimes I go back and read. That feels so channeled. And it happens. So trust your intuition. Start with something little, tiny.
Welcome to the Awakening Entrepreneur Podcast. This show is for entrepreneurs that have chosen to define their life beyond the material. They have followed their soul on a hero's journey towards the mystery of the spiritual. I'm your host, Garrett Ng. Each episode will be learning from awakened entrepreneurs and spiritual thought leaders. They have broken through the mold of being ordinary to extraordinary, challenging our paradigm, shining light to the dark, giving hope when there is doubt. The moment of truth is upon us. It is time to transcend our world from fear to love. Are you ready? Let's go! Welcome to this week Awakening Entrepreneur Podcast. Today I've got a very, very dear friend of mine that I've known for quite some time. I've met her on this entrepreneurial journey together with some of our previous guests, also from Tony Robbins Platinum Partners. And she was this fun-loving entrepreneur and free-spirited and just a lovely soul. And we just talk about life, talk about fun, talk about kids, talk about business. Never would I imagine that somehow we'll be connecting and talking about spiritual stuff. Because we never talked about it from all this time that we've known each other. It's all about business or kids, or maybe even about life and relationships, but not spirituality. That's not something that either one of us had a big passion or even dabbled in. And so today, the special guest, her name is WeiLi. She's a proud mother of two, a beautiful son and daughter. And she holds a master's degree in behavioral psychology, which she's basically created autism centers in the States, and they then expanded to Dubai as well. And that's probably something I want to go into with her as well, more learning about autistic kids and how spiritual gifted they are. Yeah, so it's basically for 16 years, she's founded one of the largest mental health agency in Central Florida. And it's through business and through life, she was going to change the world, like from an entrepreneur perspective. I'm going to help people. I'm going to heal people. I'm going to do all these things. But then something like forced her to take a turn in her life. And then the dark night of the soul set upon her journey. And that started when she was like 42. And subsequently, she founded a big female movement. It's called the Athena Sisterhood. That's basically creating a space for a lot of females, goddesses, to stay in this sacred path together with one another, rather than just by yourself in this often very daunting journey. So without further ado, welcome WeiLi.
Thank you so much, Gary, my brother, for having me here. It's an honor. Really, it's an honor to be here with you.
Isn't it funny, crazy, weird, wonderful that like all the stuff that I talked about in the introduction is what we used to talk about, but now all we're talking about is spirituality stuff.
It has been truly a fascinating journey. I mean, I'm still on this journey, right? Like every day, there's a little piece that's coming up. Then I'm trying to say, okay, surrender more, and just use this opportunity and let go some of all the stuff. So yeah, all the stuff you were mentioning before, yeah, they were part of it, but truly life has had a turn for sure for me.
And it's kind of like when you join a new social media platform, every so
Yeah.
often, like they send a notification, your friend like has just joined the platform, and another friend just joined the platform. And even when I was doing cryptocurrency and studying, and you see certain people joining Telegram and getting information, or you see them like popping up in certain groups, it's like, wow, so this and her and him and these people that you never expect to be part of the journey, suddenly like you're on the same platform, same group, same interest together. So tell me about, like, for the people that don't know you, tell them about like a brief history of where you come from so they can get a bit of context on this spiritual awakening. It's not something that just came. It's just like, what's life like prior to your awakening?
Wow, that's a big question. So you know me, the name is Doris. When we first met, right? I was going by the name of Doris Duan. And I think my biggest turning point probably is really getting back my birth name, WeiLi. Wei means grand and Li means beautiful. And that's my Chinese birth name. So I was born in China, of course, and came to the United States age of 22. And I've used the Doris for 27 years just because I thought nobody could pronounce my name. It's too hard for my professors and my classmates to remember. So I just took on this identity. And then gradually, somehow I just feel, I truly feel that like everybody was giving a name for a reason. There's just that part of me, like I want to go back, that maybe that grandness or something is, it's in that I've never really tapped into. So maybe the grandness in me is actually just to let go and truly surrender. And that is, I find the hardest part so far yet. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm still on this journey. I don't have it figured out, but I feel like, I'm brave enough to just like, let's talk about it even, right? Like maybe a year later, we'll be sitting together and then look back and say, wow, this is 1 year of journey. This is what we have actually experimented together. So in the past, it's truly like, I feel almost like the spinal dynamics, right? At the beginning, it was all alone. And I was 6 years old. I remember my mom gave me this surgical box. And there's some pennies in there, Chinese pennies. And she works in a hospital. So she just sent this to me and said, take care of your sister. And my sister was 2 years old at that time. And our father was not around, he was about miles away in another base. And I just remember taking this as a responsibility. Now I'm a big sister. So I got to do this. And then life moved on into bigger city. So I went to Shanghai at the age of 7. And at that time it was, from a little countryside, you just don't fit in. So I remember that was a struggle, but again, achieve, right? I got to like score the top and then be able to be admitted into this school. So I'm looking back all these journeys, step by step, and same came to America, worked in restaurants, like ride Greyhound to New York. And Samuel actually was robbed there, like at gunpoint. We were like, oh my God, what kind of American dream this is? It's like, we have to fight for our life. But all that came to the point of you just keep surviving. I think at the beginning in our life initially is just survive, get a green card, get citizenship. Everything's about survival. And then how it actually turned was I was 42 and it was my birthday gift. So Samuel just got us the platinum partners as a birthday gift for me. And it was at Date with Destiny. That was the very first time I really experienced God or spirit. Like I know when I first talked about it, because I didn't have anybody to talk to, there was not a Gary to talk to or anybody like on the same journey I could talk to. So I just started to talk to my friends who introduced me to Tony's world. And she even thought that I was crazy, like I was just hallucinating or something. So it was a very lonely space to say that, no, I really heard God speaking to me. I really see it. Like I saw myself just came out of darkness and feel people's pain and, saw myself become this person that like sit in the lotus seat and help. And that was a very lonely journey. When it's real, you had a peak of it. And that was just a peak of it. Now I knew something there. But even when I was talking to Samuel, he didn't feel a thing. Like we were going through the same experience. And I saw lights, I heard voices, I feel energy. I was like so real to me. He didn't feel a thing. So that I am so happy that we're talking
so just so that I know you, to give the people a bit more context, prior to attending the Tony Robbins popular event, State with Destiny, you were a busy entrepreneur, constantly strategizing on how to grow your business, your autism center, and how to impact more people, how to become a better leader. To the point is that was your primary focus in life, right? Like even more than family and relationship and your health.
Yes, exactly. To the point that I always just thought, am I actually a good mom? Because I put so much focus on building this. It's a career first, but then later it really become a big entrepreneur, like my empire. That's how I view it, right? Like this is my kingdom, serving all these kids or helping families. And it's about achieving. So true. I mean, everything's like green, that orange color about entrepreneurship.
Back then, it's hard to see it as orange color that, hey, it's all about me, entrepreneur, because part of it felt like I'm this green, I'm this yellow contributor. I have this grand mission to heal the world, to save the world, to help all these kids. And part of it just feel like, no, it's like I'm not this self-focused person because it seems external, but it's only when we start to become more conscious we start to realize there's something deeper than that that's driving more than just seemingly a grand mission to save the world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, now I'm looking back, there's just a lot of significance. There's a connection also. I mean, love and connection is always one of my top 6 human needs, but significance, like, it's all about truly like make it, right? Like this girl who's nobody now becomes somebody. That influence part of it, like, meeting the president of Clinton or being the ambassador of Orlando to go to China. Now going back, it's looking back. I'm like, wow. At that time, probably, in my mind, maybe I was helping a lot of people and I was helping a lot of people. That's also a truth, but it's what's the driving force that I feel has changed. It's what is actually driving me to do those things. So looking back.
So before you touch on the driving force, it's almost as if there is a force behind the background or a path that's been set, almost like in a movie, it's building you up, like you're becoming more and more successful, more and more impactful and ready for the fall. Does it feel like that? Like now that in hindsight?
That's true. Ready for the fall, right? That's so amazing how you describe it. It was just like that. Imagine this. So 2014, I just flew to Dubai and opened this, world class, right? Like $1 million autism center. And then I had no idea the fall is waiting for me.
You had this grand dinner and TV, and I think like people in the government came to the launch. It was like a big thing.
Yeah, it was a big thing. It was a huge thing. It was in this amazing hotel. We had, it's a grand style opening. Everything was just beautiful. So then I came back to the States, and actually I was in Mexico attending a Platt sister's wedding. It was just a beautiful wedding, soaked in love. And yes, and then all of a sudden I received this messenger from Facebook, one of the staff in Dubai, and just wrote me this sweet message. She said that, Doris, I couldn't possibly leave without telling you what's happening in the center. I can't consciously living without telling you. And then she started to tell me about what's happening there. The woman that I entrusted to run the center just all of a sudden kind of disappeared. I mean, later we find out she was in Maldives and spending all this money on vacation while the kids that we took in. I mean, these are children with autism. Some of them have severe self-injurious behavior. There's one particular child wears a helmet, and he pounds his head on the wall and just blood. And I know because I've worked with children with autism for 20 years, right? That's my training. So I understand how challenging the behavior could be. And that's why we need skilled behavior analysts to design the program and then train the technician to implement them. But then this woman fired all these behavior analysts because they couldn't agree on things, and now left these technicians who was not formally trained to be able to handle this severity. So I just had to, like, again, that's what I saw. Well, I'm the hero, right? I'm just like flying over there on Mother's Day and save the world kind of thing. Okay. So now I'm looking back, like truly it's being guided. I mean, if you remember, Gary, you're the one who actually sent the guide to me. Do you remember? Like I was reaching out. I was like, I don't know anybody in Dubai, but these kids, I just got to go. I got to save them. And then you said, well, a Platt brother is there, right? So the next thing I know that we connected, and then I was sitting in the attorney's office there. It was all men, of course. And then I had no idea, truly feel really just alone. And there walked in Vladimir, and there walked in Ben. By the way, Ben now 6 years later is my partner in Autism Center. And he's just, Dr. Ben is an angel. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. When truly you surrender, angel arrive. It's just like that. So going back to the Autism Center, there's just a lot of up and down. But the biggest fall even wasn't the Autism Center, because Autism Center is I flew in there, feel like at least I did something happened. The biggest fall is here, is the mental health center that I've spent 16 years at that time to build. All of a sudden it just fall. It just like gone. And there's no warning whatsoever. That is truly, I feel, not even looking back, is the dark night of the soul, the beginning of it.
Wow, what a transformational journey. So when you're going through that process, did it feel like that, hey, it's just something external to that I got to deal with, I need to do more, I need to fix more? When did it actually started going internal that, hey, like it's something I need to reflect on, there's something more serious than just the business stuff going on?
Initially, there was not even a reflection. It was more like a surrender. To the point, there's just absolutely nothing I could do. Everywhere else is external. I just had to say that I choose to trust. So literally I was praying. I said, I just choose to trust, God, if you trust me that I'm this beautiful soul, that I'm on earth trying to maybe to do something, then, maybe I messed up. Maybe to the best of my ability, just not good enough to where I want to go. But I choose to trust, send me somebody or send me something. So it was that. It was truly just surrender. Then we had an amazing guy came in. I hired him as a CEO of the company because, Tony was talking about be the business owner, not the business operator, right? Like I feel I was the business operator opening these centers, and then said, okay, we want to hire really a high level CEO. Then I could step out and work on the business, not in the business. And as soon as he came in, we were visiting our group homes, and then we start to do some change, and then boom, a video got released into the media, something about child abuse. And then I started to be chasing down by these reporters everywhere. I couldn't even get out of my subdivision. I mean, we have a guarded subdivision. The TV station would be waiting out there. I couldn't even go to my kids' school. And it's just everywhere. It's like they are painting this picture of this is a Chinese woman. Doesn't care about anybody. All she cares about is making money. And that's farthest from the truth, right? So all this hurt. I could just feel like I'm being so misunderstood. All I want to do good is to be this love. And, like Tony said, right? Planet is our playground. Love is our legacy. I'm not like that. But nobody wants to hear. So what could you do other than truly in the end, it's like surrender. I've done everything that I could. There you go. God takes it. So I just choose to surrender, to trust that person. Then that's how everything just turned. I mean, we are still like right now. It's interesting that Michael Singer said he wrote a book in the 7 years of FBI investigation when he wrote the book Untitled the Soul. Right now, we're still in the middle of it. It's in the tail end of it. It still haven't finished yet. All these part of the investigation, it's still there. That's part of the journey, where focus goes, where energy flows, right? There you go. So that's whatever God wants to do with that piece. That's it. I moved on.
It's like the perfect description of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey is build you up, like, and then it's like a fall. And then so you can start the hero's journey and rebuilding yourself. It's like Superman is all super invincible, and then they knock him down and super vulnerable. And then eventually that's, how is he going to bounce back? How is he going to like overcome this big villain or big challenge, big obstacle? And that's what we started to see your journey light up, I guess. And a lot of the times, I know that while I came and visit you, there's been attempts to find good leaders in the business and run as actual business owners. And you can do all the hustle and bustle and strategies and recruitment strategy as you like. But the greatest power, I believe, is when you're aligned with the universe, or you're surrounded to the flow of the universe with not a lot of effort. The right people comes into your life, and in particular your business, that can just comes in and help you drive your business even better than you can. But in the spiritual sense, I feel like it's almost like for both of us have experienced our guardian angel, our spirits, or whoever sent these people to help run the company. It's almost like now you've had enough time to do your training in entrepreneurship. Now is for the next chapter of your life. I'll find someone to put in place so that you can be at ease to go and do something else.
That is so true. Like going back to Dr. Ben's example, right? He came to Dubai to retire. I mean, he has all the money in the world. He does not need to do any of these. But then he keeps thanking me for giving him something like now he feels younger. He's so happy with, with actually this, a lot of course, stress to lead this group of therapists from 16 different countries, all these hundreds of kids, right? But he keeps thanking me for that. I mean, when you're really talking about God give us a gift, I'm just looking at him like at one point at the beginning, when we were really going really deep, everybody's like, well, you just have to let go of Dubai because we had so much money we'll have to pay out. And somehow in my heart, again, it was just a surrender. I said, no, that's the center that those kids need it. That's almost like a little oasis of the little piece of pureness. I mean, that's truly pure there. Just the surrendered, whatever shape that's going to take, I just put it in his hand. I just trusted him. Because that message, I think God gave us messages along the way. Like you just have to listen to that one message. What he told me was, when he first met me in those attorney's office in Dubai, he somehow just felt that I need to help this lady because she really has a beautiful heart. That's all he said. I don't know why, but I'm called to just help you. He has no experience in autism whatsoever. I mean, he doesn't even know like who is a behavior analyst or, there's occupational sectors. That industry to him is absolutely brand new. But somehow our center now just got awarded September the 15th, which is today. It's our celebration. We just got awarded in Dubai by the lower court in the government, Dubai House Chaos City, the Excellency Award that they give out once a year for the autism, not even for the autism center, it's for the whole health industry. We were just rewarded.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
congratulations.
A big celebration I have with you today. Yeah. So all that is
I didn't do
surrender
much.
and trust.
I think our flat brother Bal flattered me. He's a great man and put the people in place that connected you to the right people and just letting the miracle happen. And a lot of the times, like I may have said this in previous podcasts, but until a crisis-like situation comes up, to a point that we have absolutely no control, that our hustle and efforts and all the brilliant ideas we have and our contact, our resources, nothing can do, at least inside, it doesn't feel like anything that we can do. We can influence the outcome. And we finally say, oh my God, like God, someone help me. Then we allow room for this miracle to show up. Because if it's still within our realm of influence, we can be more resourceful. We can use more effort. We can manipulate the circumstances. We can somehow control things. When the solution is there, when you actually overcome the challenge, who did it? I did it. The small self, the ego self, I did it. And the whole lesson that the universe is trying to get you to see that there's a greater force beyond the self, then that opportunity is gone because I did it. And I think that one of the great things that you touched on, which I've had experience as well, when the media hit you and taint is still a label, but they portray you in a different light than how you've always wanted to portray yourself, then you have to come to terms, wow, what if who this person are built to be, and wanting not just who you built yourself to be, but wanting other people to know you for, if that all goes down to drain, then who am I? And it may feel like, oh crap, like that's such a bad thing. And I'm sure that like anyone going through or have gone through something like that, it will feel like that. But another part of it, when you don't have to hold on to this, I'm this grand person, part of that is a newfound freedom. I'm a nobody. How cool is that?
I have to tell you, brother, it takes layers of letting go. Like right after that, right? Yes, I surrendered to the point that I don't know what could I do here. But then another piece of me like, no, I can't just fall down like this. I got to get up, right? If America doesn't want me, I'm going back to China because those women in China, I can help them. I can really help their life because from the masculine energy part of being a leadership, now I've learned, this is one place now for me to really deeply thank my teachers. Like, Sheila Kelley from S Factor, Mama Gina from School of Womanly Arts, Margot from Skydice Tundra, all these beautiful feminine teachers that they really showed me another part of being a woman, which I never had a chance to experience. I never even heard about that growing up in China. So everything really happened for a reason because the fall of my empire in the autism world. Right now, I have all this free time. All of a sudden, I'm not tied in my day-to-day running the centers. I just dove into learning about goddess, like art, all that, right? Of course, after you learn, what do you want to do? Like, I'm not just learning for myself, right? I'm learning for my sisters. So I'm going to go back home and go back to my village and share all these things. And it was true. I think that was the motivation. But then it come back. Again, I had to surrender because this was like a 4-year journey. It started right after the fall. So January, actually, the news hit in February. It was that fast. So in July, 5 months later, I was already teaching class, like teaching retreat, right? I only learned a very little at that time. Not much, but it's sufficient enough to just go and share and teach. And I also want to thank Tina. She's just a beautiful class sister. God sent again. She's just like, I'm like, I don't really know how am I going to pull off this 4-day retreat, but I know that I want to do it. And she just flew. She flew from California all the way and come and help me to teach the retreat. That's how we started the feminine journey in China. Now it's called Doris and Me. To think about the name, that's also I'm reflecting back. It's that ego, like my name has to be there. Even the autism center is Doris Duan Young Autism Center, right? It's in Dubai. So it's all that piece of, I'm not nobody, like I made it there. I'm going to make it again, kind of. So what happened was that part, keep teaching, and yes, women were receiving beautifully. I mean, I see the transformation in front of my eyes. Like after 3 days and 4 days, you really see a different person. I don't know if it's part of a contribution. I'm just truly being authentic and honest. I really don't know. Part of a contribution or part of significance or part of just love and connection. And it's all that meeting my 6 human needs. And then all of a sudden, the political arena is starting to change. We can't even write the word sexuality in our, posters or the thing without being deleted, without being censored. And then another opportunity come up. So basically that is great, it's beautiful, but it's not time to do it. Then another opportunity come up, like right after that, people reach out to me is, you've been devoting 16 years of your life now into autism center. China needs autism experts, right? So I was approached by the largest organization in China formed by 3 fathers. They call them 3 musketeers, 3 dads with autism. And then they were very well linked with the government, and they have already investors in there. So it's a big organization by then. So I flew to Beijing, did all the interview, and fully going to be their business partners. They're giving me a large percentage of their shares because that's what I devoted my life. And also I had to agree to live in China 6 months out of a year. I talked to Samuel, and my king, I mean, he's supportive no matter what I do. If that's my heart calling, he's like, we'll make it happen. So we were just going to sign the agreement after all these months of work. And then 2 partners came to my hotel. And I just could tell from their look on the face, something happened. Like you can just tell from all the excitement, like, all of a sudden these 2 walked in, like almost like you see 2 men in black, dark. And I don't know what happened. I'm like, well, I think we should play a meditation first. So 3 of us sitting down in my suite, and I just put on the Forest of the Heart. And we start to meditate together. And I see them, taking their jacket off, and everything they start to loose up. And then they start to tell me, they said, Doris 老师, that was my name, right? We found a record in your background that you were the student leader in Tiananmen Square back in 1989. I think you probably know, Gary, like, the Tiananmen Square, right? Like the whole student movement, the tank was there. And as much as we love you and we really need you, our partnership is off. There's just nothing we could do. I'm like, oh, no worry. That's not me, because I wasn't even in college then. I'll show you all the passport. I will show you my, graduation from college, from high school. I was in high school then. It definitely wasn't me. It's just another person's name. And the point is, they made it so clear. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if that's you or not. It's not a public record. This is from the Secret Service. It's like 国家安全局, right? The security of the government, that they have this list. And somehow your name showed up on that list. Is you or not you, it doesn't matter. Because you can. Actually, in China, you have a business, that's all fine. But you cannot be linked with the government-supported entity that's going to be so big. So then what do you do? I mean, of course, I was trying to fight, right? Like, even after I come back, or, like all that, gone through all that, go through the local police department, finding the record, have people writing not recommendation, but just like testimonials, gone through all that. So coming back is, there's just nothing you could do. There's just nothing you could do. So that's a moment of, again, now what? America didn't want me. China didn't want me. So I'm truly like nobody. So that's the time Angel came. That was the time that I remember clearly. It was April the 19th. And Samuel and I, we were just taking the kids, on this spring break. And I got the final call from Beijing. We will have that discussion. Is not discussion, the final. There's nothing we could do. And I just went into a space like, I don't know what else could I do. And then somehow Angel showed up. I never had an angel reading, ever. I know that there's a God, of course, there's spirit, because I've heard their voice, but it's not a daily practice. It's just a very tiny glimpse of opportunity to see that realm. But then after that, I haven't seen that, right? After that, everything is just downhill to me. Like everything is just the hole open up below me, and I would just keep falling and falling and falling more. And then through a friend, he said, if you're open, I would like to introduce you to a lady, and her name is Terry. And she has this capability of connect with angels. I'm like, what do you mean? But it doesn't matter. I'm willing to try anything. I'm just willing to hear something. I just know in me, I think that's an inner voice. Like, I'm meant to do something in this world. Like, truly, I'm meant to play big. I'm meant to be that grand, beautiful WeiLi that I was born with. Just show me, like, what does that mean? So then, Terry got on a call with me. And no, actually, even before the phone call, she asked me, she said, give me your name and your date of birth. That's it. Like, just your name and your date of birth. And all the name you used before. So I gave her my Chinese name as well as my American name. And then she said she'll have an angel session. Without me, okay? She just had an angel session by herself with the angel a few days later. And then she made an appointment with me. Before she talked to me on the phone, I still to this day, I don't know what did she look like. She just called. She's not on Zoom. She's nowhere like I can really see her. But she sent me this long pages and pages of Angel's conversation with her. And it's just almost like a brain download. There's no space. It's just all like she's just writing down the conversation she had with Angel, all about WeiLi and Doris, and what Angel told her about where was I born? Like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? It's just to be in the nature, to get my foot in the grass. And I was born with master energy, but sometimes I don't believe it. Like my head does not believe it. I just need to really let it go in the next year or two to embody this master energy. Now, when I was reading some of the stuff, like, yeah, but some of the words like, whoa, that's Angel talking to me. I don't know if my brain is picking up something or it's just those are the words that moment make sense to me. And that's what we did. We really just talked about, and I was just crying. I was like really in puddles. If I have the recording, I probably just truly look like a totally lost soul, maybe at that moment, right? Like all the tools I learned. I mean, all these techniques about changing state or switch your focus, nothing came. Like at that moment, it's just a lost child, like truly a completely lost soul. But she just started telling me.
Maybe not lost soul or lost child, but the ego is starting to lose itself. Like, who am I? And you're starting to reconnect or remember your soul.
Yeah. Maybe at that moment, I truly just forgot myself, right? And she started to tell me about her experience, that she is this executive in Wall Street and how, she's 55 by then. So she's a few decades older than me. I just feel like truly, not only she's talking with the Android and downloading the information with me, but even her personal experience, even though I don't know her, but I feel like I'm not alone on this journey. Somebody else walked on this journey that can relate to me, that now I'm listening to her, that she's sharing. I mean, how amazing this is. Like, truly, like you say, that this is for me to remember. Somebody's like, we're here. You're not really there alone. You're not really lost. So starting from that, just months. And after that, I did another Akashic record reading with another beautiful soul. And, she opened my record, and fascinating. Like I was always heroes in my past life. Somehow it's just that. And this lifetime experience is all about surrender, not be the hero, like truly let the people be the hero. So I won't come home and all the people are slaughtered because I'm always trying to be the hero, right? Messages, pieces like that is very consistent. I did actually 3, and the other one came a little later after I started Athena Sisterhood. But those first 2 back to back, and I just truly listened to the angels for the entire time, about 8 months or so. I did Marie Kondo's Joy of Tidiness. Open every single drawer in my entire house. I mean, we've been here for 15 years, so there's a lot of stuff accumulated, right? So let go of truckloads of stuff, donation. And that's something start to come. Like something start to come about this desire of connecting with sisters, and received the invitation of going to the reunion from School of Womanly Arts, because I graduated 2 years ago, and the first reunion I didn't attend. I didn't feel the calling of going. And the second one, I just feel like I want to connect with my sisters now.
And at that time, like from a busy entrepreneur, you've been like always having executive assistant, always on the go, always on the run, staying up to extremely late hours, working and doing stuff, always go, to extremely like just like the stuff that you've never done, like the Marie Kondo tidying the house or spending time with the kids or just cooking or whatever that you're doing, like stuff that just slow stuff that you would never associate with yourself with in the past.
Yes. I mean, really like enjoy cooking a meal to me is as transformational as open a center. Like before, it's like, who spent time cooking? Like it truly is it's fascinating. I'm not saying that I will spend time on cooking, but just that experience of life.
Yeah, and I think like at the same time I was having a conversation with you, I was showing you my backyard and doing the gardening. Me doing gardening and scrubbing the toilets are like as far-fetched as I could imagine myself doing like 1 or 2 years earlier. And so apart from just doing cooking, what are some of the stuff that you never imagined yourself doing and starting to find a different sense of enjoyment from?
Well, after I drop the kids, like I don't drop the kids. Usually it's the school bus take them, right? But I choose to drive them there. Then I will just leave the school and I go to a garden. I mean, purposefully go to a garden, find a garden that's close. Even that school we've been going for 10 years. I never even knew there was a free garden there. And just walk, like I follow the angel's lead, just like walk in the yard and there for hours, like hours looking at the flowers. I feel like I'm bringing, like, I know you and I met in India for the first time. It was 108 class, right? Like we went to school and they taught us, okay, how to really walk the garden. But that's just like crash course, right? Spirituality, we want to have that, give that, a week to us and then we do that. But for me, years later, truly that just experience that. I'll never think that I would do that for hours. Just experience a little tiny flower with no goal, nothing.
Yeah.
And when
That's
you think
that's the keyword. No goal, no objective.
No goal.
Like yeah, nothing to achieve.
Nothing to achieve. And then gradually I do find more peaceful. Like that, I find myself also when another thing I start to do, but this is after I set up the Facebook group and Athena Sisterhood started, is the daily meditation. Like I truly find that's because before I couldn't. I don't have the patience or, meditation was never for me. I'm just fast all the time. But I do find like get up 5 o'clock, 5:30, I start to meditate. It doesn't matter even nobody shows up. It's not, like, this is how amazing it is, right? Like we are having this first global summit, online summit in 10 days. So because we want to focus on really have the best experience, so we cancel the program right now so we can focus on getting the operation back up. And then Andrew start to ask me, are you going to cancel your meditation? I'm like, no. Like to me, that's not a program. That's like, this is what I want to do. And whoever's come along, that's beautiful. That's adding to the meditation. It's not something I'm offering to them. It's something that I'm doing it for me. This is one thing. Again, it's no goal. It's not, I want to grow this program or I want more people to come to meditate with me. I was telling Samuel, this is how amazing. Like I want to meditate. Now people are coming and I put on the schedule so that I will have to get up every day. And getting up every day, getting into that routine, it really in turn helps me so much. I know everybody has its own way of getting stillness and I listen to that voice. I find that's working for me. So I'm going to continue to do it until one day, like you, right? Like a year and a half later or something, you don't meditate anymore. Like, okay, then I'll be like, okay, no more 5 a.m. unless somebody else wants to take care of it, right? Just.
What's interesting is during your entrepreneurial life, like you used to like sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning and now you're getting up 5 o'clock in the morning. Like how crazy is that?
Yeah, that is the craziness of life, right? I mean, who knows? I might stay up until 5 o'clock in the morning again. Now I'm drawing back to Tony's leadership. So some of the events is in actually Australia. I was even thinking about that. I feel like I'm at the stage of truly just let go, like expansion. Before it might be like, because I want to do it to show that I can do it. And then later when I want to do it, it might be like, it will just be fun to see how, do I really like it? I might try it once. I might not like it. I might like it. Maybe my soul want to expand to that super masculine stage again. Maybe she will enjoy it. I don't know. At least now I feel, yeah, this is actually expansion to me. Like for the longest time, technology is always my chokehold. Actually, I was crying about that yesterday. Oh my God. I was writing like after 5 a.m. meditation today. I always write now. After meditation, I download. I just start to write. Yesterday, it started from joy. It was a very joyful time. I do river cleanse with a sister at 7:30 in the morning. Cleanse about whatever that's like blocking me, right? That's a process that we do. And then somehow I got really frustrated by my computer. like really frustrated, did not know where did I save the file, couldn't find it. I went to Samuel, and then he got mad. He's like, you've been having this problem for the last 6 months now, right? Like, I just think somehow you have a limiting belief, or subconsciously you don't want to learn. Like, he's like, this is so simple. And you're such a smart woman. If you want to learn, he just went on. Like, he just like really had it with me about this whole thing with technology, you know, me being this helpless little baby kind of. And then I'm like, okay. Then I start to be like really like tough, cool. Like, I can do it. Like, who said I cannot do it? He never really been that firm with me on this technology. I think he reached his threshold. So I went out to the yard. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And then, no, but I don't want to, you know, he's supposed to be the hero. Like, I don't want to get into that cold ice queen has to conquer it and do it. I'm just going to ask for help. So then I called him down and I started like, you know, all the tissues and sobs about all that stuff. And then truly then I feel, okay, so I'm swamping. This is a technique that we teach all the girls, the goddesses in Sisterhood, right? You have to swamp your thing out. You can swamp by yourself, or you have a partner you can swamp. I feel I'm comfortable enough to swamp with him. It didn't take long, maybe about 10 minutes or so. Swamping is you get your yuckiness. Yeah, you get all your stuck feelings and you dump, like brain dump, emotional dump. You swampland, you swamp it out. You can write on a piece of paper. I just feel like I want to swamp with Samuel. I asked him, could I just talk to you, you know? And he's like, yeah. So he was just holding the space. And then after that, I feel like all clear. And then the clarity started to come to me. He just said, okay, are we good? It's just something actually deeper. This is just on the surface, right? So I just want a hug. So I went to lean on his head and he hugged me. And I think it's all about our love language. You know, my love language is word of affirmation. Like, I feel like every time if you say that, you know, technology things, you don't love me. Like, this is the weakest point this goddess have. I can feel like I can conquer the world anywhere. You put me anywhere, I can do. But whenever I'm in front of this thing, like, you know, like, it's just not, like you said, I always had personal assistant on the whole things, right? Like, even in China, yeah, everybody says, I say it, and they somehow magically appeared in the technology form. Like, I just don't feel I'm loved. And so we got there. Anyway, the whole point is I now feel like I can let emotional flow and no goals. In the end, the whole day comes back. And that even got more further, even with Serena, you know, still more swampy. In the end, at the end of the night, when Norton comes to hug to me, there's just so much joy. Like, because I swamped it out. This is what I was writing. It started with joy. It ended with joy. There's no stuckness in my body. There's just that flow. Who knows where God will lead me? But I was listening to Michael Singer again about surrender experiment. I think in this stage of my life, it's all about just surrender and tell and share. You know, if I can just be absolutely transparent about this is what I'm going through, then I feel that's surrenderness. That's surrender. I really don't know shit about Zoom, but I'm a super proud semi-master of Zoom now. Just like I was writing to Serena and Sammy, we have this little, you know, Slack group. I've said, thank you so much yesterday for helping me with this, but I'm going to be a master of this MacBook thing. It was fun. Like, it was fun. This is how I feel. Like, it was fun, with joy.
So I know that you've started sharing your surrender experiment, I guess learning from, inspired by Michael Singer. What's that journey like in truly surrendering to the flow of the universe?
I think it really started from that Marie Kondo's cleaning, right? Like, truly just cleaning things and get old energy out and then follow the intuition. Okay, now what? My house is clean. Okay, so give me another sign. And then the sign came. Now I see the invitation going to Mexico to be with my sisters. And from there, still did not know what I'm supposed to do, but that's okay. Like, just listen to that inner voice more and more, I feel. So I start to have this urge, okay, maybe I will just do a little home retreat. If I can give a retreat for many women, I for sure can give a mini tiny retreat in my house. Then we start to just having fun, like brainstorm about the name, and we were going to call it. They said, well, how about now your name? Oh, that's where the name change came, right? Like after whole surrenderness, it's who am I? Okay, maybe I'm not this Doris. Maybe Doris is all about that. Maybe actually WeiLi is another layer of my soul. So I just, on my birthday, and then I changed the name back. Even just by changing the name, I think that's surrenderness, because that's let go of all these images associated with Doris, right? And it's interesting, people now start to tell me, after the friends who know me from Doris, like, you so don't sounded like Doris. That wasn't you. Like, we like WeiLi much better. It's just, okay, so then I meant to be WeiLi all along, right? And WeiLi took a long, beautiful voyage. So now coming home to WeiLi, and then let's see what WeiLi is going to do for the next part of her journey. And a sister was asking at that time, okay, what about it's going to be called WeiLi and me? And then I said, well, no. It was just very clear, like, no, it's not about WeiLi. It's not about Doris. It's something just bigger than me. I mean, that was the moment I remember. It was an aha moment. We were all sitting around. We were brainstorming the name. It was so clear. It's like a voice just come out. And then I said, well, maybe we'll call it Tao of Love. You know, I was studying a little bit about Tao Te Ching then, about Tao of Love. And then we went to Greece, and then saw Athena. You know, that's somehow her energy is the goddess, is more even than human. It's not in this form. It's a formless energy. And it just came to me. And then we were talking about Athena Sisterhood, you know, the doula angels. We were talking about what does Athena stand for. It's definitely wisdom. It's definitely courage. And it's inspiration. And those, if you Google it, those three pieces are on there. And somehow, I keep saying surrender. This is surrenderness. And then one sister said enlightenment. I said, well, no, it's not there yet. I feel like it's just to surrender into something, not enlightenment yet. It's surrender into peace. And then we added the fourth pillar. See, even that name, the whole logo design, the cultures is all created by these beautiful sisters all together. So now the last piece is surrender to embrace freedom. That's who Athena Sisterhood is about. It's passing the wisdom from all the sisters learned, passing to the maybe younger sisters and younger generation, all the way actually is helping us, all of us, to find inner peace.
That's how wisdom used to spread, especially with women being the chief teachers and communicators. And yeah, just started spreading from community, generations to generations. But a lot of that are lost is the responsibility passed on to teachers and other people. And it's beautiful what you guys are bringing back.
Yeah, truly it's beautiful. So that's every day I tell myself, I don't know, it's a movement. I don't know, but that's okay. It's just, all I need to remember is the word surrender, surrender, surrender.
So if I was to ask you like 10 years ago, what was life about? What is life about? What would you say? And what would you say it is about now?
10 years ago. Wow, that seems like a lifetime ago. Let me think. 10 years ago. Oh, yeah. 10 years ago, I just had 2 kids, little, and that life was about taking care of things. Life is about being a good mom. Life is about being a good wife if I can find time.
What about not just in that moment, but the overall perspective of humanity? What should each person be striving for something, or what's the overall view of life?
At that time, life was about making a difference, I believe. Life was making a difference. Life was about leave a mark. Yeah, truly, I think somehow to show that it mattered that I was on this earth.
And I guess that's probably another form of or deviation of success.
Yes. Life is about made it or success. Yeah.
And what about
Success
now?
more. I think life, I truly just feel what he said. Life is a surrender experiment for now. I don't know when it's going to change, but for now, life is just a journey of finding home for me at this point. Life is about all these things that are coming up. Truly, I know other people tell me externally it doesn't matter. But my lifetime is about truly finding that for myself and experience that. Everything else outside doesn't matter. It's really here inside matters. That's, to me, that's what life is about.
And if someone was to ask you, why are we born? Why are we here on earth? What would you say?
I used to ask this question all the time before the peak into the spirituality awakening part of it. Like, why was I born? Like, if your parents didn't even want you, what's the point of you being born? But I feel now, why was I here is because then you're somehow having this enriched experience as a soul. I mean, truly, if you believe in angels, you have all these past life, right? So why don't we want to have another lifetime? Like, why don't we want to experience this? Why not? It's just part of play. I mean, if this is a part of the play, then game on. Like, more game time. Like Norton, right? I mean, why he's having so much fun playing his video games? He's so patient teach me because he really love it. He can go to this game and play this role and go to that game and play this role. Shelley has these super soul powers, right? And then Pam is a mom now. Pam has a daughter. Her name is Sally. And Sally has these. So in this lifetime, I'm just playing this role of was Doris for 27 years. And now it's WeiLi. And WeiLi is somehow in this role of being a mom and a wife. And then, started as Athena Sisterhood. And who knows what Athena Sisterhood is going to turn into. And then boom, this lifetime is going to end. And then maybe my soul wants to play again. Maybe, game time again. I don't know, but sounds like Norton's life is really a good life. That's my biggest takeaway is playing game with him on weekends. This is actually, I just feel he was such at a peaceful state. He wants to really teach me. There's no frustration while he's trying to teach me how to play the game. Unlike Samuel. Like, like he should, this is like, mommy, this is so good. Only if you know how good this is. So I think he's my teacher to see, maybe life is truly like that. It's a game.
That's beautiful. What do you think your daughter, Serena, what is her biggest teaching lesson for you is?
Her lesson for me, wow. She really is my teacher. I mean, every day I'm looking at this young goddess in awe. I mean, really in awe. She makes me believe that different souls are born for a different purpose. Like, I just feel like she is a soul that has all this wisdom already before she came. I first time saw, this was December 2012. Samuel and I came back from Dato's Destiny. And we flew home. My mom actually was caring for them. And then I had my personal assistant, helping. And we haven't seen the kids. I ran upstairs. They were sleeping. And then Samuel came with me. I was just asking him, I said, honey, do you see what I see now? I saw halos around the baby. I mean, they were 6 and 3 years old at that time. Both of them had halos around them. It was just like truly angel halos. And that was the only time I ever saw halos around my kids. I was looking for them. Trust me. I was looking for them. Would I ever see that again? Never, ever. I don't know. It was because the state that I was in, my portal was open or what. But that was the time they were that little. And then about a year later, Serena was 7 years old. So this was a dinner table. And Norton was tired, sleeping already on the couch. And we were ready to have dinner. And she just started to talk. She said, mommy and daddy, do you know there's, a symbol that it's like half white and half black. And that's like people. There's no people that's all white. And there's no people that's all black. Just like some people have more white, more good in them, but they still have that black dot there. And some people are more black, but they still have some good, like that white dot in there. And I knew that she was talking about the symbol of yin and yang. So I was looking at Samuel, and he was looking back at me, and just like in awe. And then Serena started saying, when God made baby, he shoot an arrow through a woman's heart. So every baby was born with love. Every single baby was born with love. And then Samuel looked at him and asked, honey, do you talk like this to your friends? Because she was a first grader. And she's like, no, because they will not understand. I'm good. I'm hungry now. I'm ready to eat. That was it. Then that was gone. Like all of a sudden, 7-year-old Serena came back. And that was the only encounter I had with her also. So all these, like, I just believe kids, my kids, their souls had lifetimes before. I mean, they had their wisdoms. So if you ask me what Serena's here to teach me, she is here to teach me peace. That's the last piece of it. You know, even her name, Serenity, right? That was the beginning of her journey. I had named her before we even conceived any baby. I saw the name Serena in Africa, this chain hotel. Everywhere we go, there's a Hotel Serena. And then I learned, okay, how the name came about is this French gentleman loved his wife so much, so he named all the hotels after her. Then later find out it wasn't the truth, but that's the message was passing to me. It was Serena. And then we bought this beautiful lot to build a home, and the lake in front of our house is Lake Serene. Well, isn't that another sign? Okay, I'm like, that's it, Serena. We must name her Serena. And then we started to call Serena to come. And then that was infertility. I couldn't have baby for a long time. And then finally she came. So she is here to teach me peace. She is the first sign to teach me surrender. If I'm looking back now, Serena was the very, very first surrender experiment, to the point that I have to surrender because there's nothing we could do. We've gone through all the tests. We did artificial insemination, and the baby just won't come. I'm like, I'm so ready to be a mother. You know, my company was going well that time. You know, I had all the help that I need. I'm ready for a mom now. After almost 15 years, finally Samuel said even yes. I was ready way before him. You know, he had 2 more years of, no, I'm not ready. Even my king said yes. The kingdom is ready. You had to surrender. You just had to surrender. So she's here to teach me that lesson.
I think I'm looking at the life path of a lot of firstborn child. They're here to hold space, not just hold space, but give a level of stability, energy stability within the family, especially a family that have multiple children. The second person is kind of like, is there to just be, kind of like, it reminds me of touching on the topic of the autistic kids. Like from the outside world may seem them as misbehaving and can't control themselves. But similar as the second child, the energy is like, I'm just going to be in a way that you don't even try to control me because I'm here to help you break down the illusion of control. And so they are just free. They are just free in their own world. And in fact, I guess my understanding or my belief is that a lot of the kids with autism, they're actually living multiple dimensions. And so you may see them as, hey, spaced out, whatever they're dreaming of, but they are just having a crazy adventure, fun adventure, and just really enjoying life. But because we can't control them, there's a degree of freedom that comes with it. With that in a segue, like, what's your experience with kids with autism? It's like working with them from a spiritual perspective.
That's actually a long journey. My journey started with autism was behavior analyst. You do task analysis, right? You have targeted behavior to reduce. You have desired behavior to increase. Everything's measured. There's absolutely control in that sense. I mean, there could not possibly be uncontrolled in that environment. So then journey on, I started to go into it's called the ACT, like acceptance therapy. It's almost as you were saying, these kids are here to, it's not in a spiritual sense to teach us yet, but even in the behavior analyst, the psychology field, we have a group of professionals start to wake up to the fact that we're not here to teach them to reduce these behaviors. It's truly to maybe hold space. Maybe it's a space for them to come to teach their family. You know, maybe they're really the biggest teacher for the families. For me, now I'm looking back because my truly spiritual journey, waking up, like awakening, is almost like after the autism part of it, right? Like the autism part of the empire fall. Now I can look at my Dubai center. Now what I'm giving back to the center there is more of the spiritual sense of it. It really to support. I think for going back, it's more of doing more of the parenting skill training now. It's for the family to accept from a conscious level who their children are, instead of trying to just control and change them and living in a very stressful environment. Like if they can have that acceptance first, more than anything is accept who truly they are, just different.
How do you accept when, I guess, based on your most of the parents' upbringing, that they have a different vision of what parenting and what the child is going to be like? So, how do someone accept?
Even looking at the history, right? When autism first started back in the 40s, these are the theory, and then become the refrigerated mom, right? Theory about you're cold, and it become, vaccines, and it become all kinds of theories, right? It's people are trying to just figure it out, to study about them. No profession really knows still to this day what has caused autism. How do you not accept these are the children that's coming here? We don't know them. You got to accept that this is the fact that we don't know them. We're here to learn about them. And the fact also, each autism child is so different. That I can definitely testify. I'm not mad one child that's the same. It doesn't matter. It's the children in China that I went, or children in Dubai, or children in Orlando, or children in Mississippi. They're all the same. They're not the same, but they're all the same. They're just all so unique. All of them has certain talent that are just beyond. I've seen so many kids have these just amazing abilities. It's like they're truly in their own world. But again, not all of them. 50% of the children on autism spectrum also have other disabilities cognitively. They don't have these talents. Even 50% more maybe. So there's just no expectation, whatever you can put them in a box and say, this is a Down syndrome child, right? Down syndrome child because the chromosome, and this is the characteristics, and this autism is just totally different. There's no way. No two are alike, so you just have to accept them. They're unique.
Do you think there is a method that can help, especially the parents, see the beauty within the autistic child? Or do you believe that it's just like when you become more conscious, suddenly you notice how beautiful the flower garden is around your kid's school that you've never noticed in the past? It wasn't any effort on your part. How do I use my efforts and methodology to enjoy the flower more? It just happened. So, but in saying that, there are some things that by applying certain methods, suddenly like it just became more enjoyable.
By applying certain methods, like a go with the children also is very, very important, right? Even though you have the method, maybe you learned it, but if it's all about controlling them at a certain time, then you might not use the method at the right proper place. But if you truly accept them, and then just from that unconditional love, I think children with autism come here to teach all of us, not just parents, therapists included, especially people like me who's been really devoting all this time thinking back. They're truly come here to teach us unconditional love. You just have to love them the way that they are.
Wow.
And once you love them the way they are, you watch. I have hired and many therapists, right? It's the same technique that I teach them, same technique. But you just watch the kids will go to one therapist and not the other. It's amazing how if you are watching, if you do task analysis, yeah, this therapist A and therapist B, they're doing the exactly same thing. Step one, check. Step two, check. As a task analysis, they all validated of being a qualified therapist. But somehow this group of kids just don't go to that person and look at their energy. It's different. They're saying the words. They're saying the right words. But the heart is not open. The acceptance is not there. There's no unconditional love. And those are the therapists who will quit. And the other group will stay no matter what.
I
So
love
for
that.
parents, accept unconditional love, your child. I mean,
It's teaching us unconditional love. That's really beautiful. So I guess to close off the loop, if you were to share with yourself like 10 years ago or 20 years ago or your old self in the entrepreneur journey, what would you want to say to yourself? Anything, knowing what you know now.
trust your intuition more, like trust your intuition. I do believe everything's within us now. I mean, before I probably just heard about it, words like everything is within me now, everything's within me. But I truly do believe everything is within you. Just to somehow find a way to get still. Like, even if you can just try a little stillness. Entrepreneur is all about achieving, so busy. You know, we go to all these seminars, we attend things, we study and we learn. I would just invite you to give yourself some space for that inner stillness to have a time.
And if someone was to ask you, WeiLi, so like how do I tap into my intuition? Oh, who do I call? What number do I press?
Oh, this is what I do at nighttime. So I have a journal and I write my desire, or sometimes it could be a problem, a challenge. I just wrote a few days ago, how could I continue to even have more joy, but also expand to hold the space for a senior sisterhood? That's my desire. I just wrote it in the journal and then I just go to sleep. Like in that space, let my subconscious mind work. And then in the morning, get up, write whatever is coming to me. That's intuition. That's a method that I use for intuition to come to me. Then I go to meditation. Then I download whatever that's coming. That's trusting intuition more and more. Sometimes I go back and read what I wrote. I am sure you had those moments. Did I actually wrote this?
Yeah.
That feels so channeled. And it happens. So trust your intuition. Start with something little, tiny.
Wow, nice. I remember something from one of the podcast guests, Dr. Steve Young. He talked about the power of words. And a lot of us in the spiritual space, and I know that I've definitely used it, the term holding space. If we're holding space, it implies we're using energy, we're using effort. But if we tweak that word to allowing space or create a space,
I love
then
that.
suddenly it's no longer such an effort and a struggle. Like I have to hold it. And even the word container as well. I'm creating this container like, I have to hold on to it. But when I'm going to allow space.
Thank you for this gift. This is beautiful. Wow.
And
It's an aha moment for me.
yeah, that's the beautiful part. Like is the intuition. It just comes through and it just passes out. And there may be a lot of information that I don't pay attention to. But again, the intuition, the inner knowing is just the guidedness. It just pulls the right piece of the information at the right time. The more that you observe yourself and allow space, instead of being so busy and busy and busy, the more that you're allowing things to just naturally manifest into its creation.
It's beautiful. Well, thank you, brother. You always pass your wisdom to me. And I also want to say thank you so much for allowing the space of awakened soul in Athena Sisterhood, week after week and week after week. And that's one program every Thursday night. I look forward to it. It feels like a connection of souls together in that space that you created. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. I think like yourself and all the sisters are part of this magical creation, co-creation. So for those people that are interested, especially all the females that wants to be part of a tribe and a part of an awakened tribe, or even just part of just a lovely group to go on this journey of life together, how do they learn more about the Athena Sisterhood?
Oh, we actually have a Facebook group. We have about 1,200 people now. It's Athena Sisterhood. If you just type in, it's there. And also we're actually having a first global summit In 10 days, Gary, in 10 days. So all they need to do is just go on our website, athena.sisterhood.com, and they will be able to register, and you can find out all about Sisterhood.
Thank
And we
you.
are on Instagram. We're new, of course. We just celebrated our 6 months anniversary yesterday. Yeah, type
Awesome.
in Sisterhood. You'll find us on Facebook and website.
And if people want to connect with you personally, do they go to the Athena Sisterhood, or is there any social media links that they can follow you on?
Yes, we have a page also, Athena Sisterhood. You can just type in. I'm always there. I'm in the group every day. This is where the space we created together. So any new sisters coming in, we will help them to have a bigger sister, welcome them in the group. And, amazing. I truly just have to say, just come and experience it. Come, grow, and shine. Be the light.
I guess to finish off this podcast, is there a quote by someone that comes to mind that has made a big impact on you?
Yes, totally. Tony Robbins, the secret of living is giving. First time ever I heard about that in 2012. I think that was the beginning of my spiritual journey.
Thank you for giving up your time, giving up your knowledge, giving us your loving energy for this podcast. And I look forward to the Athena Sisterhood and yourself continues to expand and shining your light through a lot of the people that's going through dark times, as well as the people that's already feeling the light and radiating the same energy and together glowing even more. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for creating this space for us.